I'm your host, Luke, and we are here with our co-star, Sean.
Hello.
Today we will be talking about the new Chainsmokers album, Memories Do Not Open, and then the new Father John Misty album, Pure Comedy. So let's just get the Chainsmokers out of the way. I was not expecting anything with this at all, considering the Collage EP was absolutely atrocious. One of my least favorite EPs and just general releases of last year. And none of the singles were particularly appetizing either.
Yeah, personally, I don't think the Chainsmokers are going to ever do anything amazing. They're always what I've hated with EDM culture, and this album just seals the deal. Just right from the beginning, it's obvious that they're trying to go for an EDM feel, but they fail at that because they're trying so hard to go for like this Drakey, weird, like
dreamy, like sappy feel. But then that being said, they do it really like poorly because all the lyrics are really bassist and sappy, and the production is so thin that like they have all these really like intense drops that just are not fitting. Like I'm gonna use the track more. I'm going to use Don't Say for an example, and I actually kind of like this track, but it has this like really pretty vocal melody from Emily Warren and like this really cool feedback loop as an instrumental, but then when the drop comes, it's just kind of like metals the sound down, and that's one of the better examples of like a good track that I liked. There are tracks like Young where they're just like terrible tracks structured, and then it's just like all over the place.
Yeah, I feel like these are just the worst of both worlds. All these songs on here, so they're too EDM-y to like pass as a Drake influence thing, and they're not upbeat enough to pass as like a club banger. They're just in this weird middle ground, of just like mediocrity.
Yeah, and I mean when I say singles, and there were some guest stars, I guess, but none of the guest stars, I think, maybe with the exception of the Coldplay feature, were anything like special. And the Coldplay one would have been a great feature if the song had actually been good, but the production, the mixing are absolutely horrendous on that track. But I'll get into that track later because there are a few things that I want to mention about that specifically. But then there's features I really want to turn out well, like Emily Warren, who turns out well on Don't Say.
She's on 2 tracks, right?
Yeah, but then the second track she turns out is like dismally underwhelming. It's My Type, I believe. And then Jean Aiko was the one I expected to do really well on because she had a fantastic feature on More Time by Drake on Nothing Was the Same. One of my, I think, the best guest features of like this decade. And now she on what was it? I think Wake Up Alone, which is like a DJ Mustard rip. It's just like a more upbeat DJ Mustard rip. She just delivers this like lackluster verse.
Yeah.
And the main guys, I think it's Alex Taggart or Paul something. Their vocals are innocuous enough.
They're not at all good.
Milk Toast, especially on Bloodstream. And Bloodstream is just like the worst lyrics.
Was that the first song?
That's the third track. That's the one is another terrible track because they tried to write like a piano ballad, like an EDM banger with the verse structure, and it turns out terribly. But Bloodstream has like this. I'm effed up and faded. I'm so complicated. These things that I said, they're so overrated. Like I could write that stream of consciousness when I was in 8th grade.
These are cringy lyrics, and like I'll overlook cringy lyrics if there's a good song behind them, and there's not a good song behind these at all.
Or even a cool vocal melody. Like I'm going to come back to something like just like this because I want to talk about my hope for this track when it was first announced, and then my initial dissatisfaction, because they posted original snippets of the track of like Chris's vocal melody, and I thought, hey, this actually sounds kind of good, and the vocal melody and his verse is actually something I enjoy a lot, but then the production is just like iffy, and then the drop is not only bad and not only smothers the song, but it's also literally like taken from the track Roses, which is a track they released a few years ago. It's horrendous.
Yeah, I was telling you earlier, I would say that 90% of EDM right now, especially EDM and these like artists that everyone's listening to right now, they're using like the same 5 presets to make these these synth melodies.
And then not only does that drop like smother the song in general, but then they have this like guitar riff, which is not even a good riff in general.
The guitar solo at the end.
And then but it's a mediocre guitar solo in general. But then it's like mired under the mix, under the drop.
And they just like put a whole bunch of reverb on it to like try and cope with the fact that it was a bad solo.
No, it's not even that. It's just that it's just mixed so low that you can't even hear it, and it's just like everything's darting off in random directions, and it's just
Yeah, I could see what they were trying to do there, but it just did not work. I can't believe that made it like onto this album.
But why did that track need to exist? Coldplay's done like pop songs that have turned out well in the past, like Princess of China, Sky Full of Stars, which the latter of which I thought was really good, and the former of which I thought was just okay. The former of which I thought was great, and the latter of which I thought was just okay. But those turned out well, at least, and fit for pop radio. This is just like none of the strengths of either of the artists, whatever you think of either of them. And it's just. Before we truly trash this, I must say that there are a few good moments on this, especially the track "Break Up Every Night," which I thought was actually really, really good. Because I want to say it's almost like written like a rock song.
Re-listening to it, I did like the song structure, and I can understand why you like that song as much as you do.
And, I mean, what I like about it a lot is how it's just verse, chorus, verse without the generic drop every verse, which makes the drop finally after the second verse really gratifying because the energy is saved up and it actually plays to their strengths. Even though the lyrics are a bit cheesy, I think this is the best example I can show of their sound.
Give me space, give me reason. That's what you tell me when you're leaving. Change your mind every night.
Okay, back to basics. And just I was really dreading listening to the Florida Georgia Line feature, the Baby You song.
Oh my god.
I was like, it's not the worst feature on here, I would say, or the worst vocalist. I'd say that I could hand that to Taggart's vocals on Bloodstream. That being said, it's still dreadful to listen to.
Yeah.
It's a test of my.
I'd say almost all these features were just really lackluster for me.
I'd give the exception of Emily Warren's first verse, but yeah. On our first song on Don't Say.
Mm-hmm. Emily Warren was a good, it was like a breath of fresh air from all of just these, I don't know who's singing on a normal Chainsmokers song, like on track 1, for example. But just when every time I heard his voice, I was just so underwhelmed by his vocals in general.
It's Alex Alex, Paul, and Andrew Taggart. I believe it's Paul who does vocals.
Okay.
And he's just the most milquetoast, bland vocalist. And it really fits in with the melodramatic, frat boy type aesthetic.
Yeah. That's all I really have to say about this.
I've addressed I've really attacked all the bases that I want to attack. This is I don't like this. I think it's currently beats out Ed Sheeran's Divide as my least favorite album of the year. I give it a 37 out of 100. I will say the best track, though, and something that I would definitely actually recommend is Break Up Every Night.
Okay. Yeah, I gave it a 34 out of 100. The Break Up Every Night is one of the few redeeming qualities of this.
I'd say Don't Say to a lesser extent also, but I think the drop is kind of forced on that too.
The Don't Say okay.
And with a Don't Say Human, because I really like the feedback loop on that, and I really like Emily Warren's vocals.
All right.
But I feel like we're talking about this much longer than I think either of us would like.
Yeah.
So let's get into the album that we actually want to talk about, which is the new Father John Misty, pure comedy. What about it?
All right. So this was, I could tell from within 3 songs in that I was going to be listening to this song for a very long period of time after this. I can see myself listening to this song in the summer of 2022, just because this is the production and the lyricism on this is, I think it's really timeless. I think it's really telling. I think it's amazing what he's done with this album.
Okay. For reference, I was a huge fan of his last album, I Love You Honey Bear, which I thought was a record mostly about relationships with his wife and the variety of topics surrounding it. But I thought it was just a very sincere, very pretty, and also very interestingly Baroque album that I thought played. Father John Misty can come off as maybe a kind of a jerk or pretentious at times. But I mean, he kind of addressed that also, and a lot of the time he even addressed it kind of on this album also, especially maybe more than I Love You Honey Bear. Kind of pummeled that, but it's just this album, I feel I could see why people would hate it. Because contrasting I Love You Honey Bear, this is much more self-indulgent, and it deals with a different topic entirely, which most of it is about the human condition.
Okay.
On especially on the title track, which I
it's
thought
where are we going is.
Yeah. And I feel that's maybe just the general overarching structure. There are many themes on here, such as growing up, social revolution, just chaos of the new millennia. And I mean, when I first listened to this, I was kind of underwhelmed because I thought on several songs he did come off as like an incredible jerk, or just like someone who's
just super pretentious.
I'd say, and this is my least favorite track still on the album, two wildly different perspectives, because it's just like, oh, we're so divided, man. Why can't we all just get along? And it's like, stop.
Yeah, there's one where he was like condemning hipsters. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like you are like cheap hipster.
You invented that.
Yeah, this is your shtick. What are you talking about? And that track is really good production too, so it's just kind of a disappointment with like really nice like
production on this album is like so awesome.
I'd say it's slightly less interesting than I Love You Honey Bear, because I Love You Honey Bear was just like the paradigm of just great sounding Baroque pop.
Okay.
But this has its charm. I mean, especially when you have like the sax solo on Total Entertainment Forever.
Yeah, just there's so many instruments are on here. I think I think Total Entertainment Forever, you just hear this like brass like sweep up like it was you're in a movie or like a Marvel movie or something.
I love it to death. And I mean, I'd say I don't know what kind of state of mind I was in when I first heard this album, but I just didn't like it that much. And now I listened to it like 3 times, and I can say that I'm pretty enamored with this. I mean, thematically, there are still a few soft spots, but then you have to also take into account the times where it just hits it out of the park. Like on Pure Comedy, or maybe things that it would have been helpful to know before the revolution, which is sort of about like the overthrow of industrial capitalism and sort of just this talk about how it got too hot, so we overthrew the system. Which
I love that song, but like I didn't really listen too far into the lyrics there. I just loved I loved the production. I love the drums on there.
Yeah, I want to pull up a really good line from things that would have been helpful to know before the revolution. How I feel there are many lines on here like are just brilliant and are absolutely poetic. Like, industry and commerce toppled to their knees, the gears of progress halted, the underclass set free, the super ego shattered with their ideologies. Just this giant, like, really great passage that honestly just one of I think the best lines he's ever been delivered. And then I say the first 4 tracks on here, Pure Comedy, Total Entertainment Forever, Things That Would Have Been Helpful to Know, and then Ballad of the Dying Man are among his best tracks. With exceptions, I think. Ranking above there was Chateau for Two Virgins.
Okay.
But
I think Things That Would Have Been Helpful to Know Before the Revolution is my favorite Father John Misty song I've heard to date.
Yeah.
Just because that thing's just perfect by all means. But then I look at songs like Leaving LA, where that song is 13 minutes long, and it uses pretty much the same chord progression for 13 minutes. I didn't find myself grow like tired of the chord progression though. He kept it really interesting.
He makes a joke about that.
He does.
Yes, he said, and I'm merely a minor fascination to manic virginal lust and college dudes. I'm beginning to see the end of how it all goes between me and them. Some 10-verse chorusless diatribe plays as they all jump ship. I used to like this guy, but the new shit makes me kind of want to die.
That's great.
It's great. It's wonderful.
I love that.
And I mean, it's really self-aware too. And I mean, one of my favorite line on the record, and this is just absolutely genius, the line on Leaving LA where he's talking about how he first discovered music, how he's going to JCPenney with his mom, he starts choking on watermelon candy, and he's lying on the ground choking, he hears the soft like chords of Fleetwood Mac's Little Lies. That is the most like AJJ, just like bizarre, like...
I would hate to go out to that song the record.
Oh God.
All right, so... That's all I can think of.
I have a few more things to say about this. The production is good, but it feels kind of gimmicky on a few songs.
Like what?
Birdie, especially.
Okay, Birdie. Okay, I will give you that. That was. I wish this album is like how long? Is hour 14 minutes long.
Yeah.
Definitely has filler material. Birdie is a good example of filler material on this album.
I was surprised to like how many topics he tackles to the filler. Like on A Bigger Paper Bag, he's like, I got the world by the balls, man. I'm like a kid with candy or a king on cocaine. I'm just the man. And then on like the track When the God of Love Returns, There'll Be Hell to Pay. It's like truth coming out of her well, the shame of the world, where it's just like, and it's not like pure comedy of like where are we lost. It's just like. It's like there's going to be a reckoning eventually, be it God, be it like the apocalypse, or be it something.
Okay.
And I really he he is really self-aware, but he gets caught up within himself a lot of the time, which sort of goes away from his true strengths and just goes further into mindless self-indulgence.
Okay.
But I mean, for the most part, this is like a true reflection of his persona in a way that I can enjoy. And as I can say, I'd say that's pretty much the definitive Father John Misty at the album at this point. I mean, it isn't. I don't think the lyrical themes are as interesting as "I Love You, Honey Bear," but these are the most Father John Misty. I feel these are the truest reflection of his Twitter feed. So, what's your final verdict?
Final verdict. I could not give this over a 90 out of 100. I have to give this an 89 out of 100. Favorite tracks, things that would have been helpful to know, before the revolution, and Leaving LA.
Yeah, I originally gave it a 91, and then I realized there are a few choppy spots in the second half, not enough to kill enjoyment at all, but I feel like enough to drop it down below that. I'm gonna give it an 87.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be able to say best two tracks, things that would have been helpful to know before the revolution, and total entertainment forever.
Okay, that's fair.
So this marks the end of the Studio 143 podcast. We will see you next week.